I don't like where this is going. Stop! Stop! No, 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 no. Please, lady, you don't understand. You don't know what you're doing here.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Good Old Wrasslin. Sorry about that. I don't know why, but streamer was acting real fucking weird there. But yes, this is Good Old Wrasslin. For everybody who doesn't know, this show is all about us talking wrestling for about an hour or so. So I would like to welcome the usual suspects. We're gonna Shadow. How's it going?
Not too shabby, mate. How you been?
I am doing very, very well. Thank you for asking. And we also got Deshaun here. What's up, Deshaun?
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Not too bad, man.
Doing good. And yes,
Good.
today we're gonna be talking some wrestling. We're gonna be talking about NXT Takeover in your house. We're gonna be talking about the releases that WWE has been fucking pulling, because of course they had to pull that shit. Also, what's up, Zach? We got Poe in the house as well. What's up, Zach and Poe? Before we get into all this, let's go around the panel, tell everybody where they can find themselves at. We'll start with you, Shadow. Where can they find you at?
Well, you can find me at my main channel, Shadow Hunter, and my gaming channel, Shadow Plays, which is where I'm moving all my gaming stuff to now to kind of give a more of a split between what I'm doing. Yeah, I do wrestling stuff, Star Wars stuff, Marvel stuff, and yeah, it's a bunch of fun for the cover and join us with it. I'll be happy to have you there. We're on the road to 100 subs, so about 8 subs away. So I'm hoping to get to that by the end of the month with some banging content. So make sure to not miss out on that.
Awesome. Go and subscribe to him. I have his link in the description. And Poe did say he came by to leave a like, show support. He's got to eat. No problem, man. Thanks for stopping by and showing some support, man. We always appreciate it. Next up, we have Deshaun in the house. Deshaun, where can they find you at?
You could find me on my YouTube channel, of course. Deshaun Wiggin. ISO game Deshaun Wiggin. What I got coming up? Not too much. I got maybe some movie review or some random video. This is kind of like a secret because I would not be doing a video about it, but I am doing a rewrite. I mean, not kind of like a rewrite, but I am doing what if Marvel had like a universe for the TV show. So I'm doing that right now. So yeah, that's all I got for y'all.
Cool. And also, guys, just a little bit of an announcement. I think that my first rewrite video for the DCEU rewrite, Austin DCEU, will be coming out later on tonight. So be sure to tune in for that. I believe my Man of Steel rewrite will be dropping tonight at around 8 o'clock. So once I get the video and once I get everything set up, I will be sharing out the show, sharing out the video. So if you guys want to come and watch, it'll be premiering. Please go and check that out, guys. It is a pet project of mine. It is something that I've been working on, and I hope you guys enjoy my Man of Steel. And hopefully, if you guys are not a huge fan of the DCEU, then hopefully my rewrites make it better. All right. Well, we got that out of the way. Now let's talk about NXT Takeover in your house, because it's so in your face. It's now in your house. This is the second NXT Takeover in your house. because there was one last year, and the one last year was fucking terrible. I'm sorry.
Yep.
I mean, it was bad. I mean, there was nothing really good except for the main event.
Yeah.
I thought the match with Velveteen Dream and Adam Cole was horrid. I thought that everything was pretty boring, average, didn't really work so much. So, did this show improve over last year's? Yeah, I think it did. I mean, it wasn't necessarily spectacular or anything, but I thought overall it was good.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start off with the first match on the card, which is Bronson Reed, the North American champion, and MSK, the tag team champs, taking on Legado del Fantasma, which would consist of Santos Escobar, Joaquin Wilde, and Raul Mendoza, MSK, which is Nash Carter and Wes Lee. And it was a winner-take-all six-man tag match for both the North American title and the NXT tag titles. The basic story of the match is, Legado del Fantasma wants to win all the gold, essentially. And, of course, everyone else is like, no, we don't, no. Like, it's not going to happen. I guess I can just talk about the match, because I'll be honest with you, I don't have the full-on details. So what I might do is I might just look at some of, the notes, or at least some of the cliff notes, and kind of tell you guys, because I was also doing a lot of other stuff while watching it. So basically, it started out with with some fast-paced back and forth between both teams, because it started with Mendoza and Lee, and they were doing some quick little exchanges. Then they ended up tagging in their partners, and then they did their back and forth. And then that's when they tagged in Bronson Reed, which then Escobar tagged in, and then he's like, oh, nope, I ain't doing this. And then he tagged in, I believe, Wild, and then he ends up kicking shit out of him, and then they do a ton of dives. And then once that happened, Legado del Fantasma would end up controlling the matchup for a bit. And then they ended up, then once Lee was in the match, Lee was able to get out of that and tagging into Reed, where Reed would end up kicking the shit out of people using his weight and speed to basically squash everybody. And towards the end of the match, of course, Escobar basically went crazy. He grabbed the North American title and he yelled before Reed put him through the barricade, and this would allow MSK to hit their little tag team finish, which is like a blockbuster, an assisted blockbuster, if I'm not mistaken. And then Bronson Reed would hit the tsunami off the top rope, which is a huge splash, allowing them to retain their titles. I would say it was a good opening match. I wouldn't say it would have been it's not a spectacular match by any means, but I would say overall I like the pace of it. I think the booking made sense because MSK right now, they're on a roll. They have a ton of momentum. It makes sense for them to keep going with it. Bronson Reed just won the belt. It would make no sense for him to drop it here. But Legado del Fantasma could have also won as well, because they kind of need a huge win, and this would have been the right time to put all these belts on them, because that way you can establish them as this huge force, or this now intimidating force, and they could have done a lot with this. But I'd give it a solid B. I thought it was a good opening match. Shadow, what was your thoughts on this opening match?
I think I'll agree with you. It was just a neat little wrestling match that is always good to start the show off with.
Yeah, I thought it was a good match too. It wasn't anything spectacular, but it was a good little back and forth between the teams, and I think it told a good story, good enough story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely agree with you. It's very good match, I would say. Good enough for B.
Yeah, definitely.
Next up is Mercedes. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with
Mercedes,
Mercedes Martinez
like the
versus
car.
Xia. Yeah, I don't know what the hell that was. The hell that
Mercedes.
was. I mean, I'm having a hard day today. Yes. So it was Mercedes. Yeah, Lee versus Martinez. It was kind of like a grudge match because the basic story of the match is Lee was pissed off at Martinez because Martinez basically embarrassed her during the Mae Young Classic. So now it's kind of like she wants her revenge. This was the only match on the card that did not have a championship on the line. They locked up. They would end up falling out of the ring. Martinez would end up getting the upper hand at some point before Lee, because she's the bad guy here, uses an illegal hold, and she ends up on the rope for almost the full 5 count. Lee would then go on to, Martinez had her set up on like one of the posts, and then she ends up kicking, using a kick to the post, which she ends up hurting her leg, and then Martinez would then. Oh wait, no, it was Lee that hit the ring post. Well, I guess they both hit the ring post because I remember Martinez also kicked the ring post. So Martinez would then come back, and then there was like a little bit of a situation. Lee would then go on to nail Martinez with like a kick of some sort, and then she ends up winning. And then Martinez would then go on to beat her up with a chair, so it made no fucking sense for Lee to even win. I actually will say this was probably the weakest match of the show. Definitely not spectacular. Was not needed on the show. It was like one of those matches that I think if you open the show with this, I think it would have been fine as well. Because it's like, it's not something I would have had later down the card, but it was a decent enough match to kind of it was a good match to start the show, or kind of the beginning. I'd give it a C+. Not bad, but not anything spectacular either. Shadow, your thoughts?
It just felt like a match you'd see at Fastlane.
Yeah.
That's all I've really got to say about it, because I don't care at the end of the day.
Yeah, it was a match that wasn't needed.
Exactly.
Deshaun, what was your thoughts on the first 2 matches of the show?
The first one was a winner take all match, I think. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. The winner take all match, it was good. I mean, I didn't care too much about the match. I didn't care too much because I didn't watch NXT for the last 2 weeks at all, so I didn't know too much about the match anyway. I mean, I didn't care for it, but it was a good match. It'll be a good match. I give it a B plus, maybe a B. I give it a B minus. The second match, Martinez plus what her name? I forgot what her name is. But I didn't care for that match either. I didn't care for that match at all. Match to me was boring. I think it's the worst match on the card because I don't think a lot of people did not care for the match. I mean, it was a bad match, but I didn't care for it. So.
All right. Next up, we had LA Knight versus Cameron Grimes for the $1 Million Championship. This match came about because Cameron Grimes was in a feud with the $1 Million Man, basically about, who is the richest of them all, because Cameron Grimes became rich because he was like a GameStop investor. So he became rich, and then Ted DiBiase kept one-upping him. And then, so LA Knight would then go on to confront Grimes, which then Knight would then go on to ally himself with Ted DiBiase, and then it was revealed that it would be a ladder match for the $1 Million Championship, which would mean another added championship. Jesus. Well, I hope it's like a gimmick title and not a fucking actual championship. So
Yeah.
they hung up the $1 million title, which was in a briefcase, which was fine. So Knight, had the size advantage, so he pushed him. He had the upper hand for a bit. He's pushing him around, and Grimes, would then go on to. He was able to get the upper hand, and then Knight would then go on to try and bring in the first ladder, but he ends up doesn't really work for him. Grimes almost gets crushed by the ladder, which then became a weapon. Grimes and Knight would then go back and forth. Grimes would actually send Knight into a ladder with a German suplex before Knight would go on to hit him with a neck breaker onto the side of the ladder. And then of course they had some big spots here, and they would trade. It was back and forth because a ladder match. It makes sense for it to be back and forth. Grimes would then go on to bring in a gold ladder, and then they were brawling on top of the ladder because of course it had to be the case. Knight would then fall off the ladder, and then he knocked it off to prevent Grimes from getting the belt, and I think Grimes hit him with the Spanish fly that he does. Grimes would then climb the set, and he hit a dive before Knight would then go on a tip over the ladder, and then he would send Grimes into another ladder, winning the match, and he became the first $1 million champion since Ted DiBiase Jr. in 2010. Again, very good match. I think, again, really, really solid. I think the ladder match was good. It made sense for it to be a ladder match. And the story was fun. It wasn't anything serious because, let's be honest, it really wasn't a serious storyline. It was kind of goofy, but I think it worked because it's not a storyline that should have been taken seriously. It was literally just Ted DiBiase and Cameron Grimes basically one-upping each other. Then LA Knight showed up, and then it was basically a battle to see who was the richest man ever. And of course, Cameron Grimes loses. LA Knight wins. I'd give the match. I'd say A. I'll say B+ or an A-. I thought it was a very, very solid ladder match. Now, as far as where they go from this, I don't know. We just got to wait and see. Shadow, your thoughts?
I enjoyed the ladder match. Like I said, it's not really a serious feud with Ted, LA, and Cameron Grimes, but I never really hit up with it. I just didn't really care for it, but I know these two were really good in the ring, so obviously it'd be a good match, and it was, and it delivered, to be honest. But yeah, I agree. I'd fight B+ maybe.
All right. Deshaun, what do you think?
Yes, I gotta agree with y'all. This match was a B+ movie. I mean B+ match, but it. I think every Nada match have been good. I never seen one bad Nada match in my entire life. So right now, this is a B+ Nada match. I thought it was good. It had some good spots. Definitely will have in the end. So it was a good match. I hope there is not a actual champion. I hope they'll give me championship. If there is like an actual champion, oh gosh. But for the match itself, it'll be push.
Cool. Next up, we had Ember Moon versus Raquel Gonzalez for the NXT Women's Championship. The basic story of the match is Gonzalez, they Blackheart, Moon, Gonzalez, and Kai were kind of feuding, and then Moon would go on to call out Gonzalez, and then she ends up challenging her for the Women's Championship. The basic start, it's just, again, Gonzalez had the strength, right? She was strong. She was the powerhouse of it, so she was dominating. I think at one point Ember Moon went for like the middle rope code breaker, but then she catches her. Moon would then was actually at a drop kick at the start of the match, but Gonzalez, she was hitting the quick strikes, but Gonzalez kept, she was the powerhouse. Of course, she ended up like stopping her. She then, I think Gonzalez didn't go down from the crossbody. She ends up sending Moon into a barricade from the apron. And then, of course, Moon would then get destroyed, and then she gets hit with the sidewalk slam. Moon would then go on to hit some strikes, and then I believe she hit the middle rope code breaker for the 2. And then there was like a Ember uses a submission move. I don't really know what to fucking call it. I'll just call it the lockjaw. So she puts her in a lockjaw submission, but Gonzalez would then makes it to the bottom rope because Dakota Kai held out the rope. And then Moon would then hit her with a suicide dive. Gonzalez would then go on to Moon would then counter Gonzalez because, again, she's light. She's also very fast, quick, agile. So she ends up countering a bunch of Gonzalez's offense. She ends up hitting Gonzalez with the Eclipse. But, again, when she went for the pin, Dakota Kai would then put her foot on the rope to break the count, which resulted in Blackheart showing up to chase her from the back. Moon would then go on to hit the Tornado DVT. So Gonzalez was on the outside. Moon would then hit a Tornado DDT on the ramp, which was elevated to the ring for, again, another near fall. And then there was a little bit more back and forth towards the end, resulting in Gonzalez hitting the one-handed powerbomb to retain the women's championship. Overall, I'd say this was a very good match. The only thing I'm concerned about is this going to be Gonzalez's entire title reign where she's going to need Dakota Kai to help her? Because if that's the case, then I'm not necessarily amped up for it. So I'll give it an A-. I thought the match itself I think the match was very, very good, but I hope this is not where it's going to lead to where Dakota Kai is going to keep helping her. I think that at some point they're going to have to split, but I don't know. But overall, that's what I'm going to give it. I'll give it an A-. Shadow, your thoughts?
Yeah, the match was okay. Like you said, I'm not really looking forward to a title reign if Dakota Kai keeps interfering, because I don't think a cowardly heel, especially with how they're going with it, doesn't work, especially for Raquel Gonzalez and how dominant she actually could be. And just, I don't see it necessary for her to be with Dakota Kai unless she needs someone to be a mouthpiece, which she doesn't really need. So I just feel like this is going to be like a long storyline where Dakota Kai just there to try and get in her head and then get a title match out of her and then just destroy her entire career, which who cares? But yeah, I give it a B+ again. It's just good match. Just I'm not looking forward to the rest of the title reign.
All right, Deshaun, what was your grade for this match?
This whole storyline, I have problem with this whole storyline. I thought Sasha was face, now she a heel. I don't know if she a face or a heel. Most likely she a heel, but I actually thought she was face. This whole storyline, it's not bad, but it was not that great. And the match itself, it was good, but not that great. And also the match proved that Ember Moon could have been so much special on the main roster. She's talented and everything else. And the match itself, I give it a I would give it a C because it was not a great match. It was a good straight okay match. So
All right, good stuff. And you know what? You know what's funny? They introduced the NXT Women's Tag Titles, and yet they were nowhere on the show.
Because no one cares about them. Like the actual
Exactly. Exactly. And of course, we get into our main event, which is Karrion Kross versus Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Johnny Gargano, Pete Dunne in a fatal 5-way match for the NXT Championship. The story of the match is that there was a number one contenders match between Kyle O'Reilly, Pete Dunne, and Johnny Gargano before Adam Cole decided to show up and interfere. And then, of course, Kross would confront Cole and Regal, resulting in Kross basically saying, I want to face everybody to kind of be a dominant champion. So William Regal's like, all right, well, then we'll make it a fatal 5-way then. So, of course, the basic story of the match, well, there was like a ton of stories in this match, and it kind of got confusing because it was like, it initially was like everybody was gunning for Adam Cole because like he screwed them, but then it turned into, well, then they got to take out Kross, and it got really weird. These four went after each other. At some point, it was like they were doing all their like basic moves on everybody. Kross was basically the dominant big guy where everybody was trying to take him out. Everybody goes after Cole at one point because again, they're all pissed off at Adam Cole. And then at one point, Gargano and Pete Dunne would end up shoving Kross through the front door, which was on the stage set. So this would take him out of the match for a bit. And then this, of course, resulted in the other four returning to the ring and doing, again, a few more sequences. I think at one point, I think either Adam Cole hit like a last shot on somebody and then Gargano hit like the one final beat on him. Like, it was something that like a shit ton had happened, and then Kross ends up coming back, and then he would then destroy everybody. But then, of course, he ends up getting taken out again with a double power bomb onto a table, and this would then result in, of course, all four guys going after each other again. And then it was basically that once they took him out, they ended up going after each other again, and then towards the end of the match, Kross would then come back and put him in like the straitjacket submission holds on everybody, which, Pete Dunne got out of it, but then like he got taken out. Then Gargano was put in the straitjacket, and then basically everybody in this match got put in the straitjacket. And also going back a little bit, so at one point everybody was like hanging on like in a trio woe position in the corner, and then Gargano hits like the lawn dart onto both of them, so it takes out everybody. But then Adam Cole hits the last shot on Kross. Then Kyle O'Reilly hits the huge knee off the top, which then Adam Cole broke up the pin with a super kick. Then Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole went back at it, and then Kyle O'Reilly put Adam Cole in the knee bar before Karrion Kross would then put Kyle O'Reilly in the straitjacket. And just when you thought Adam Cole was going to tap out, Kyle O'Reilly passed out, resulting in Kross retaining the championship. Easily the best match of the show. I think everybody played their parts very well. The problem was, I think this match was a clusterfuck because there was so much going on, and they had so many wrestlers here where you could have easily had a one-on-one with one of these guys with Kross, but I understand that to a technical degree because you have to try and protect certain wrestlers. But even then, Kyle O'Reilly didn't look good because, I guess Kyle O'Reilly looked good because he didn't tap out. And also he looked strong in defeat. So overall, I'll give the match maybe either A- or B+. I thought the match was very good, very clusterfucky. And as far as the future of certain wrestlers, I think Adam Cole is more than likely going to be going to the main roster at some point. I don't know if it's going to be now, but he might be going to the main roster at some point this year. Shadow, what are your thoughts?
I enjoyed the match. I don't think the failed 5-way really suited the purpose. I feel like I understood what they're trying to do, like make Kross look like he's dominant, try and get another dominant heel champion like Roman, but it's just, I don't know, the failed 5-way, I don't feel like that should have been the way to do it, but here we are. But I did enjoy the match. I feel like I agree with you. Adam Cole is going to go up to the main roster, maybe with probably Pete Dunne soon. But I don't want that to happen before. I want Cole to face Kross in a one-on-one match before that because their promos together are really good. and I just want to see like a full program with just them two going at it. And I feel like that could be fun. But yeah, I give it A, if I'm being honest.
All right. Deshaun, what about you?
There is definitely the best match on the card, and like the match, I do have problem with it. I think it was too many guys in the match. I didn't think that Pete Dunne, Jimmy G, Pubby, deserved to be in the match. Okay, it was a one-on-one match or a triple threat match, but I had a, I mean, it was a good match, but I have a problem with it. It's definitely the best match on the card. So I give it a B plus.
All right. And you know what? We'll start with you, Deshaun. What is your final grade for the show?
My final grade is eight. Eight. No, I give it 7.9 out of 10.
All right. Good grade. Shadowhunter, what is your final grade for the show?
I'm going to say 6.5.
6.5. All right. I'll give the show a B plus. I thought the show was solid enough. Definitely wasn't the greatest show ever, but I thought, for what it's worth, it was solid. Not anything too bad. Not anything spectacular, but pretty good. I would say. So, we got some good stuff here. All right. Next up on the agenda today, and that is, of course, the hottest news, and that is WWE releases. Because,
Woo!
oh boy, here we go. Yeah, this year already they had a shit ton of releases, and it was like and a lot of them were huge names. Some of them made sense, but some of them were shocking.
Apparently there'll be more as well. Early July. So
Yes, from what I've been hearing, they are going to be doing more releases. To give everybody a recap of who got released. So I guess I'm just gonna have to go down through the list. We have Braun Strowman, who got released even though he was in a main event title match at Backlash. That was kind of weird. Aleister Black, who just came back from being off TV to then end up being released. Buddy Murphy, who was doing something but then ends up getting taken off TV. Lana, Ruby Riott, who was in a team. Santana Garrett, Andrade, Lars Sullivan, Steve Cutler, Samoa Joe, Peyton Royce, Billy Kay, Mickie James, Chelsea Green, Tucker Knight, Kalisto, Bo Dallas, Wesley Blake, and that was it, at least for right now. Now,
kill me.
I think WWE trying to get Samoa Joe back.
Yeah, apparently he might be the next NXT general manager from the tease that Wwe Releases gave, but I'm still annoyed by Andrade and Aleister Black.
So, to kind of just say, I understand certain members that got released because if you're not going to do anything with them, just release them. Like, take for example, Bo Dallas. Like, was he really doing anything?
Probably just talking to the people in catering.
Yeah, he was probably in catering, eating the tightest worldwide catering.
And then you have someone like Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman surprised me.
Yeah, it surprised me as well because he's basically been a main eventer for a while, and then he just gets released out of the blue.
Yeah, because no matter how you feel about the guy, he's a big draw for people who don't see a lot of wrestling. So it doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
But obviously, back when AEW was a thing, well, when it started up to be a thing, Vince McMahon got worried that everyone was going to go over there because of shit. So you got like the big people like Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, and all that to sign like big deal contracts. So that's probably why he released Strowman to reduce the amount of money going out of his pocket every month.
Yeah.
That is true.
And then you have people like
it's
Aleister Black.
And Aleister Black just came back.
I'm not going to get into Aleister Black because I really like the guy, and I just it is.
Yeah, and it sucks because it's like it's clear that they were going to do something with them, but then they ended up just getting rid of them, which wasn't fair.
Yeah.
Which, but the twist about it though is that Aleister Black had nothing bad to say about the company.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you watched his Twitch stream after he got released, but basically his NXT return didn't get turned down the way to do the Dark Father first. And also he was meant to win the US title, but they wanted crowds back to do that. So, and also he was meant to win the 2020 Royal Rumble, but
yeah, exactly. So it shows that Vince McMahon actually liked him.
But I feel like just released Aleister Black just because of money wise, because like back when they got released, there was like shit ton of rumors that Vince wanted to sell the company, but I'm not too sure.
Nicholas is like, William Regal is upset. Why was he upset about NXT TakeOver in your house? Basically, the end was William Regal looked like he was crying, and he was like, things got to change or whatever. So I think we're either going to see William Regal get an assistant, or like he's going to get a co-general manager, or William Regal is just going to flat out leave.
Or maybe it's just... There's people saying that maybe it's just like because of Cross's like dominance, like in that Fatal 5 where so he's like lost control about who's going to be the next main event. Just put Adam Cole in it, it'll sell. I mean, Adam Cole sells anything.
I mean, you could put Gargano, you could put Cole in there, and it would sell.
Yeah. I mean, especially Gargano. I mean, after all great matches he's had, and also he's missed a takeover, so that makes sense.
Exactly. And you know what? Gargano just dropped the North American title. So what are they going to do with him now? Are they going to put him in a tag team with Austin? Well, I mean, because I know the Way is like a team technically, but are they going to put him in like in an official tag team with Austin Theory and then have him go after the tag belts? I
wouldn't say they're a team, I'd say they're more of a faction.
Yeah, so they're a faction. But would it be But are Theory and Gargano going to go after the tag titles, or are they going to have Gargano go for the NXT title?
I mean, it's going to be highly unlikely for Gargano to go to the main roster because he tried that before he was out. So
exactly, and also it's like Gargano's already held the North American title 3 times, and I don't think he's going to get a rematch anytime soon. So you might as well put Gargano either in the main event scene for a bit, let Cross beat Gargano, so that way you can continue to build up Cross's title run, or just have Gargano be a team with Theory and have him win the tag belts.
Or if Vince really wants to do it, put a shit ton of NXT guys like Gargano, Cole, and shit on Raw, trying to make it interesting for once.
Which it'll never be because it's too goddamn long and it's horrible.
Or you could. You could put Adam Cole on SmackDown and try him out against Roman Reigns to kind of build up his name quickly and certify him as a main eventer and certify that NXT isn't really a developmental thing. It's not like you it's not like NXT superstars are basically worse than the Raw or SmackDown ones. It's like they're on the same level. And then maybe Adam Cole could prove that with him going up against Roman Reigns in a match where Roman's going to shout a lot of things.
Oh, exactly. Nicholas says, any thoughts on Tony Khan, aka Booker of the Year, the one who bought a mansion? Is he ready to make his next move?
Oh, Nick Khan. Oh, Nick Khan, see what who's doing out releases and shit. Tony Khan, sick guy. He loves wrestling, so can't complain. Nick Khan, you released 3 of my favourite wrestlers, so fuck you.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah, Nick Khan's a fucking dick.
I mean, I get why he's doing it. I mean, WWE have had like the biggest profit gain ever last year, so something he's doing is working, but not at the cost of like future potential Hall of Famers if they get them right, which I feel like they could have done, but
exactly. And
yeah.
No, you can go ahead.
I really hope they bring Joe back as NXT general manager because he was always good on mic, and I feel like he'd had a good spice to the roster, especially because we've had Willie Regal as NXT general manager for like 7 years. Whilst it started to get a tad bit boring, it's always good to have Willie Regal around. So I'd like to see like Samoa Joe, Willie Regal, kind of like how just kind of butt heads and kind of be like 2 opposing authorities on one brand and see how that kind of plays out.
But you know what, though? I would rather see Samoa Joe as a wrestler than a authority figure.
So would I, but he isn't cleared, is he?
Well, I would think he would have had to be cleared by now. I mean, I don't know what he got injured with.
He had a severe concussion when he fought against Seth Rollins at AOP, didn't he?
Yeah, but by this point, he should have been cleared. So I don't know if it's something else that, they're like, because if someone like Daniel Bryan can be cleared, I don't know why they're not clearing Samoa Joe.
The reason to clear Daniel Bryan is because AEW is going to come into it with like double or nothing, and they're scared they're going to lose Daniel Bryan.
Oh man, I'm gonna say this right now. AEW is overrated.
I think it is as well. I just don't think the superstars on the show are like Jon Moxley, Chris Jericho, MJF, Ricky Starks. I'm not going to say
guys
Kenny
like
Omega.
that aren't.
Yeah, Kenny Omega is.
Kenny Omega is.
He's just a horrible.
He's
heel.
overrated.
Yeah, I prefer him as a babyface, and that's a rare thing to say nowadays.
Because like if you compare him to a Roman Reigns is way superior than Kenny Omega.
Yeah, and these two are like the biggest like wrestling brands right now. If you want to compare them to, you're gonna have to be comparing Roman Reigns, who is about to approach 1 year on his title reign and has pretty much carried wrestling, against Kenny Omega, who has pretty much the entire former WWE gang behind him, just trying to save him from not being humiliated. And it's just...
Yeah, and it's also one of those things where... Because did you hear about the whole Jim Ross situation where Jim Ross said that Randy Orton is the best wrestler right now, and then, of course, AEW got upset and like they attacked him because he didn't say that their champion was.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with Jim Ross. Randy Orton is definitely one of the best wrestlers right now, but like overall wrestler, maybe. But if you want to bring character and wrestling into it, I'd say Roman, but...
Well, it was mainly a comparison between Kenny Omega and Randy Orton because JR basically was like, "Oh, I think Randy Orton's the best wrestler," and then of course he's like, and of course AEW got upset at him because he didn't say Kenny Omega.
Yeah. Randy Orton and Matt Riddle are carrying Raw right now. Like, it doesn't seem like it should work, but it should, and it's just. Yeah, Randy Orton can just take anything and make it work, and also his wrestling style is just very iconic and unique. So, I think he's probably the best wrestler on Raw right now.
Well, honestly, anything can carry Raw at this point because Raw's so bad.
Yeah. I mean, Bobby Lashley as the almighty WWE champion's a bit funny, just...
I mean, he is, but...
He's meant to be taken seriously. It's like a big dude.
It's like, and then they keep redoing the same matches over and over again because we're seeing Lashley versus McIntyre again, which, don't get me wrong, you could classify this match as the rubber match because Drew beat Bobby Lashley at Backlash last year. Lashley beat McIntyre at WrestleMania, so this will be kind of like the blow-off match.
And also, McIntyre never officially had his one-on-one rematch, but I don't see why that makes sense because they got rid of rematch clauses 2 years ago. So,
yeah, and you know what? I would have rather had Bobby Lashley versus Kofi Kingston at Hell in a Cell, and then have Lashley retain, and then go on to face McIntyre at Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I don't feel like it's Lashley's fault that he's having a mediocre title run. I think it's just the writing and also the people that he's being put up against. I feel like I agree with you. I feel like he should face Kofi Kingston and then maybe, I don't know, use someone like maybe have him go against Sheamus for a bit, like have Sheamus drop the US title, maybe, I don't know, or maybe have champion versus champion. So I mean, Sheamus is doing pretty good right now with the run he's on. Like, his US title run is superb, but
oh, absolutely.
We don't know that. It's mixed in with a pile of shit.
Yeah, and you know what? Sheamus, to me, I don't think gets the credit that he deserves because he's underrated.
Oh, of course. He's never been majorly... Well, he has been majorly injured. Well, he's probably one of the hardest working in the room. He's one of the most experienced, and he's probably one of the best at telling a story. And right now, with the shit show he's on, he's doing something good.
Yeah. So I'd say that was really one of the things I liked about it. As far as like, there's just like nobody on Raw that I can take seriously as a legit threat. If that makes any sense. Yeah.
Neither can I. That's the problem, because on SmackDown you have people like, to state the obvious, Roman Reigns, Edge, Apollo Crews sometimes, because his accent's a bit on and off. Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn I can't take seriously, but I can take the concept of his character, the goofball he is, seriously. Big E, I don't feel like the character he is right now I can't take seriously. But Cesaro, Seth Rollins, I mean, if Roman Reigns was back down, Seth Rollins would probably be Universal Champion. If I'm being honest.
Oh, probably. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the match going into SummerSlam. If they don't do Roman Reigns versus John Cena, that they're probably they could go down the road of Rollins Reigns.
Yeah. It's highly likely to do Reigns and Cena. I mean, Cena's already teased his return on Instagram. And I feel like we should really see that match. Yeah, they've faced before, but it's just the fact that this is a new revamped Reigns going up against a Cena who's not been at WWE since WrestleMania 36 when he faced off against The Fiend. So really, you could bring Cena back in any way because, I mean, he could have been redeemed by The Fiend at the Fun House, or he could still be the same old Cena, which wouldn't make sense, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to that match, and apparently it's going to be shorter than an episode of Monday Night Raw, which I'm actually looking forward to, because SmackDown the pay-per-views for WWE start at 1 o'clock where I am, 1 o'clock in the morning, so it'll be easier for me to watch it.
I'm back.
Yeah, I'll stay. Just something happened. Yeah.
We got to talk about now. Give me something to eat.
We were just talking about Reigns versus Cena.
Oh yeah. I hope
Yeah.
that match happen at SummerSlam.
So do I.
I'm back.
Summer, SummerSlam will be on my birthday.
Oh, well, I'll say happy birthday to you then.
But before my internet crap, I was gonna say, a heel Roman Reigns versus John Cena. I think that match will work because this feels like a match that would also make sense. Is that Cena could come back and say, I gave you the torch, a couple years ago, and yet you turn into this. I'm gonna take my torch back, and then Reigns is like, no.
Yeah, and also when they face each other, like it was in 2017, so 4 years
And
ago.
then you could have even
Roman couldn't speak on the mic 4 years ago.
I've seen it. No, and I even think the match was garbage.
Yeah, the No Mercy match was fucking shit. But the promos that Reigns and Cena came up with, like especially the contract signing, that's probably one of the best promos I've seen in a while. And now that Reigns has a way to speak effectively and is actually really good at speaking now, it's gonna be a more elevated version of that feud, even in the match. So,
and Reigns is gonna beat Cena.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, right now Reigns is on the best run of his career. I honestly think Reigns should hold on to the title until next year's WrestleMania.
I mean, who's gonna take it off him?
Nobody.
That's the thing with Reigns. If you make him too dominant, then you won't have anyone to take it off him. Which, I mean, fair enough, because it's Roman Reigns. But I feel like they need to make it a point where Reigns can't do this forever. He can't go on this monstrous heel tribal chief run forever.
No,
because they need to switch up at one point. Because at some point it's going to start getting stale. So they need to find a way to make sure Reigns doesn't get too overpowered with it.
I know who could beat Wwe Releases.
Who?
Brock Lesnar.
That depends.
yeah,
Yeah.
But even then, Roman would beat Brock.
I think so. I felt like the only reason that rivalry would be interesting again.
You have that.
I felt like the only reason that rivalry would actually be interesting is because of the Paul Heyman aspect.
Yeah,
That's
and
the
you know
only
what?
reason
It would be enough change of pace because Roman is with Paul now. Paul's no longer with Brock, so you have that switch up.
And Paul could use the excuse that Brock left him when he was most vulnerable because of COVID and shit, but Reigns took him in. Or maybe Heyman could go back with Lesnar. But honestly, as much as I miss Lesnar, I don't want to see him back in WWE. Because I don't want to see a part-timer holding a major title anymore, because it just wastes it.
Well, I think if anything, Brock's going to come back and he's going to face Lashley, if anything.
They should do that, but knowing WWE, he's probably going to face off against Kofi Kingston. But yeah.
Lashley go on to beat Kingston at Money in the Bank, and then he goes on to face Brock at SummerSlam.
Yeah. I feel like what'd be interesting is that if Lesnar actually interferes against Lashley and McIntyre at Hell in a Cell, like how he did with Reigns versus Strowman at Hell in a Cell.
And you know what? It would make sense because Lesnar would be pissed off at McIntyre for taking the belt off him and embarrassing him. And then he would also kick the shit out of Lashley because he's the champion.
Yeah, and also because Lesnar likes beating people up, so two people better than one. Yeah, I feel like there is some interesting stories for Lesnar, like against Lashley and stuff, but after Lashley and the Reigns, like Paul Heyman aspect, what's the point in keeping Lesnar? I mean, he costs so much. Like
exactly. You know what? It could lead to Survivor Series. Because I was thinking like long-term booking is you have Lesnar, Reigns at Survivor Series where Lesnar's the WWE champion, Reigns is the Universal champion. You have the title unification match, have Reigns, become like the champion of champions, and then have Reigns face Rock at Mania.
Well, I mean, it is rumored that Rock is going to return at Survivor Series. But I want to see Lashley versus Reigns more than Reigns versus Lesnar. Because, like, they did it with The Fiend. Like, if they have a part-timer come in and take the title off him just to protect him, it'll just ruin their character's momentum and just ruin the run that they're on. I mean, granted, Lashley's character is okay. It's just they need to get rid of the goofiness and make him like serious and dominant. Maybe like Reigns, but not Reigns because you could never have Roman Reigns. But it's
and also Lashley has been on a not necessarily on a roll, but he's been the champion since the beginning of the year, essentially. So it would make sense for Lashley and Reigns to face off more. But then if you have that match at Survivor Series, it kind of sucks because then you have to sacrifice Lashley in order for Reigns to be protected.
Or maybe I've got something for you. I don't know if you're gonna like it, but maybe what if Dwayne interferes in the match, gives a rock bottom to Reigns, Lashley spares him twice, 1, 2, 3, and then that'll be the first time Reigns has lost since December 2019.
Damn.
Bang.
Like
he has not lost since 2019. That is fucking nuts.
Yeah, Reigns is a monster. He's like a monster right now, so I don't see this. I just see Reigns holding the belt until next year's Mania, if not even next year's SummerSlam.
I see. I mean, I don't want to sound unrealistic here, but I feel like Reigns could actually give Bruno Sammartino's title run for its money.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, who's going to actually dethrone him besides from maybe Jey Uso? But I feel like that would just... Yeah. What's the point?
The what?
Yeah, like that would be anticlimactic.
Dwayne... Yeah, again, you got to think with Dwayne, he's not going to stay around for long. He's only going to stay for that match. Because after that, Dwayne will probably retire from in-ring competition. So why give him the Universal title if he's not going to be there? He's going to be there less than Lesnar was during his like 500+ day reign. And why? I mean, little stats here. Lesnar only defended his title 10 times during his 500-day reign. Imagine how many times Dwayne would defend it on his schedule.
Well, to be fair, when Rock won the title in 2013, he did defend the title the pay-per-view before Mania, so...
I mean, yeah, but that was against CM Punk.
But you do have a point, though.
Yeah. I mean, Rock weren't as, like... I don't want to say high profile, but he was obviously high profile, but he weren't, like, superstar leveled profile in Hollywood as he is now. Because, I mean, the dude's the highest paid actor in Hollywood right now, so he's going to have a shit ton of movies. I mean, I think he's got like 6 in production right now. So, I mean, it's not going to be easy for him to do a title. title defense against someone every month, especially with COVID, because you've got like 2-week isolation. So it's I don't see Dwayne defeating Roman. I feel like, yeah. Your thoughts on that?
As far as Rock is concerned, I don't think Roman is going to beat Rock. We already know he will. Rock is going to lose, because like Reigns at this point, unless they have Reigns drop the title beforehand, I see Reigns going into Mania next year as the champ, and I could even see Rock winning the Rumble if they want to do that. But that's all I have to say about that. And guys, we did hit the hour mark, so I do want to thank everybody in the chat. I want to thank Nicholas. I want to thank Nindroid, Poe, Zach. I want to thank everybody that came in. Of course, this is a fun stream talking wrestling. I want to thank everybody on the panel. I want to thank Shadowhunter. I want to thank Deshaun for coming in on the panel. We will be here next week. I think Hell in a Cell is this Sunday, so we will more than likely be talking about Hell in a Cell and whatever news comes out next week. Or else I'll probably have a certain topic. I'm going to go around the panel again so everybody can tell themselves where they can find themselves at. We'll start off this time with Deshaun. Where can they find you at?
You can find me on my YouTube channel, Deshaun Wiggett, aka ISO Game. What I got coming today? I don't know. Maybe a trailer we at. Well, the only time I go make a video is that Fireman No Way Home trailer come out. That's it. So besides that, you could find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Discord server. And also, I don't got Instagram anymore, so you cannot find me on Instagram anymore. So that's where you can find me at.
All right, good stuff. Shadowhunter, where can they find you at?
You can find me on my main YouTube channel at Shadowhunter. I've now got a second YouTube channel called Shadow Plays to kind of separate the gaming aspect and the entertainment aspect of my channels. On my first channel, I'm going to be releasing a low-key review, episode 1, before episode 2 comes out. I'm also going to be doing I think I'm not decided on title yet, but the concept is top 10 films that have disappointed me in the top 10 films that have disappointed me. I'll just leave it at that. And then also on my second channel, I'm doing a GTA 5 playthrough and also FIFA 21 career mode. And Universe mode will still be main channel because there's no point in moving 30 plus episodes over on the second channel, which will take about 6 days. So yeah. Ostator, thank you for having me on. And also to make a stupid prediction, Bobby Lashley's going to kiss a woman at Hell in a Cell.
It might happen. Yeah, so like I said at the start of the show, my Man of Steel rewrite will more likely be coming out tonight. If not, then it'll be out tomorrow. I will probably be premiering it at 8 o'clock. I'll kind of let everybody know on Twitter. You can find me after this stream on the weekly wrap-up on Chris Knight's channel. And then you could also find me on Zach Axiola's channel where we will be talking about Halloween 2. And if he does it tonight, then randomness at its finest. And then Splash Talk Saturday, Good Old Wrasslin Mondays, Shadow Eye Sunday, Nindroid's channel for Galactic Chat on Friday. Basically everybody's channels, so go and check them out. Subscribe to everybody on the panel. Their links are in the description. And yeah, that about wraps it up for tonight, guys. Thank you guys for watching. This is the Osinator, Shadowhunter, and Deshaun signing out. Take care, everybody.